Mike Land. How's it going?
What's going on with the podcast out here in the world?
We're hitting you with on a normal day. It's been a beautiful day during the week here.
Man, hasn't it?
Yeah, it turned out to be a beautiful day.
Talking, we got 60s, 70s places, and then it's gonna drop, get cold, get warm again. Those are extreme fluctuations that that's nothing wrong with that. That's good. I feel, you get the cold, you get a little bit of warmth that you want to get out of it. Cold back again.
Yeah, it's nice. It's one thing I wanted to talk with you about. I saw something. We and you had a discussion the other day about handicapped people or physically disabled, I guess. Disabled. And me and you both have
all the same,
right.
Yeah.
And we kind of briefly talked about it because we were at one of the stores here in town and we came across one. And unfortunately, me and you talked about we have some family members that kind of, they're not rude to these people, but they've said some comments to us discreetly about how
it makes them feel
uncomfortable. And both of us kind of both agree that it's kind of shitty. Nothing against these people because they're great people
for sure.
They're
for sure
and
good people all the way around.
No doubt. They'll give you anything off their back or whatever it may be. But when it came to that kind of a situation, and I don't know, it just made us feel like we felt bad for them because those are people that we know and people that we care about, and to hear them say something along those lines of I wouldn't say talking down on it, but just like you said,
and I don't even want to call it like inconsideration because there's still it's not like blatant out to their face. It's just in their own world or in their own being they have this sentiment to it where it arises the question why do some people have these aversions to I don't know, maybe it's a stigma that carries over and me to you not so much, but them to other people, so it is there.
Right, and I understand people having an uncomfortness with the disabled, because there's some people who are very, very, very disabled, and that their life has a lot of challenges, and for some reason there's a lot of people who get weirded out by that, and I hate to use that term because I on the other hand, I do not. I treat everybody the same. If you're a shithead, it don't matter if you're disabled, white, black, green, yellow. If you're a shithead, you're a shithead.
If you're rude, dude, you get rude back.
So to me, I've never judged anybody on that nature.
On just straight appearance.
Anything like that.
Or,
But so like I said, me and you briefly had a conversation about how it was a shame that we know people who have that kind of outlook towards that, and but we also agreed that people are people, you know what I mean? And that we didn't really get too much into it, but it'd be nice to have. I'd hate to say that it's taboo-ish in society because it's just not the norm,
I think it harks back to like that whole political correctness that we're always talking about. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That, like you said, taboo, maybe. I say non-politically correct is but it's something that is out there in the world that just should be said more often and.
Right.
You know what I mean? I remember my cousin, real young.
Oh, that's right. You had a cousin who, you had a family member who was.
I had an aunt.
But she was more of the mental than the physical.
Yeah, for sure. But with the mental, sometimes it always edges into the physical because they aren't able to attain the like agility, all the abilities to move your, like dexterity and so on and so forth. So it almost. It was, in a sense, both, but it was stemmed because the mental, she just lacked the physicals and whatnot. But, you would see the reactions of people. And me, like I said, growing up around it, our neighbor, not to, I guess, like I said, I don't want to put anyone out and, make anyone feel any worse than what it could be or whatever. Right. But I remember my neighbor growing up, he had an aunt that had somewhat of a deformality, and she disguised it when she went out. It was simple. It was a real simple thing, she just disguised it. And I went out with them one time and I saw her disguised and I was like, whoa, what the heck, like I never, and she didn't take it off and I was.
Wait a minute, hold up. What do you mean she had a disguise?
It was it was as simple as like putting on sunglasses or heavier makeup.
And what was her thing? What did she
I
have?
really don't know what the disease was, but her, like, physically what it looked like was her eyes were very large. She had something like what you would call like a very large bulbousy eye.
I see.
You know what I mean?
So she wore sunglasses.
So she wore sunglasses.
Makes sense. I do the same.
They're around the house and in the neighborhood. Like it was, she never gave a shit. Like everyone saw her, and I thought nothing of it. You
right,
know what I mean?
And that's good
because the way I was brought up around her.
And that's good, and that's kind of the point that I was trying to get to is that that I think since in some ways since it's a low percentage of society. It's still an uneasy feeling for somebody who doesn't have that in their life to come across something like that, whether it's out in public and whatnot.
Sometimes I guess that's what you're right. It could be the lack of interaction.
That's 100% what I feel. And know, and another thing that we kind of talked about on the other day is that those people that we know that had those feelings. Me with having kids and whatnot, I could easily have a kid.
Anyone could.
And so how would and these people are dear to my heart, and I think to myself, well, what would happen if my child came out handicapped in some way? Are you going to be like that to my kid too?
Yeah.
You know.
It's, you know what? And I guess talking about the interaction and being around it, 9 times out of 10, they themselves could be broken of that, and I think there's love and all that will shine.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it if it takes that to get there, like seeing your own family member, who knows what for it, is kind of that's last stand. You know.
Well, here's why I'm bringing this up, because, like we said, just the lack of interaction.
Yeah.
Well, as we had this conversation, I think it was the following day I came across this, and I want to share with you because I know you're going to dig it.
Yeah.
It's a very it's a conjoined twins who are teachers.
Whoa.
So
I've seen these girls growing up.
As we just talked about the lack of interaction, this isn't getting any more interacting than this.
Yeah. Wow. So these girls became teachers. I remember them seeing them
semester
growing up.
Year college. We've been student teaching and wrapping that up.
So that's pretty incredible.
That is.
To think that, here we're just saying about how it's a lack of interaction, and here as a student, because these are young kids.
Yeah, you can tell they're probably just like, I don't know.
I think that is such a huge benefit for these children to be, because now they're seeing life in a completely different way. Even you and I did not get to experience.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of just wanting to watch the video because, man, wow, to see that,
Yeah, they're
conjoined twins like that. But like I said, I recall the story. Well, not this exact one. I didn't know they become teachers. That's outstanding.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk about the triumph of
so how's the teaching going? Questions.
Yeah, it's neat. Like I said, that this is going on in somewhere in America. That there's a teacher that is doing this, and she's exposing a pretty small percent of what can happen out there in life, and then and here you got a teacher. This is amazing to me.
It definitely.
I think these kids they're getting a whole nother outlook. Like I said, a different way to look at life, and I think they're going to be a lot better for it.
Any encounter, because my first, even me growing up with it, there was a point when I traveled as a young kid, pretty young kid. I was 5'6", you know what I mean? We went way deep into Mexico, and we went to a mercado, just a little big market, right? And there was a kid walking, or young adult, grown man, semi, walking around with these huge feet. I mean, huge feet. They looked like...
Like talking Shaq or bigger?
Like football feet. Like, they weren't like... They were like swollen.
He didn't get to wear shoes or something?
He couldn't even wear shoes.
Yeah.
They were so like... And I was... I got smacked for staring. I was just like, I couldn't help but look. It was just awestruck, right? You know what I mean? But like I said, I saw that when I was probably like 6 or 7. And I had that interaction that I was like told, hey, straighten it up, and I had to watch him walk down the street, and it was a whole thing just for him to get around, because his feet were, I don't know if that's what elephantitis is or whatever, but it was I'm only guessing that that's what it was, something like that.
Right.
A deformality, because he seemed, everything else about him seemed very normal. You know, his body and arms and legs and all the structure was, but his feet, like I said, like he was walking on footballs.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. So, like I said, we had just had that conversation, so it was neat when I was flipping through some of the news, and I came across that, and I was like, oh, there you go.
I seeing what I've seen, and I couldn't imagine growing up. It was one of those kids and having that as my teacher.
Just
and that is the wrong word. Having them, is more, I guess, to be, because it's a person. I don't know why I said that. You know what I mean? But them as a teacher, that'd be outstanding. Just like I said, I had that memory of that one guy, and it sticks out to me, and something as a melding moment. You know what I mean? From so young, that having that for sure, like we're discussing, is going to be one of those melding mind moments where you get an idea of what life can throw at you and what you got to deal with,
and how that doesn't have to stop you from doing anything you want to do in life.
For sure. Yeah.
It'd be badass if they were fucking ping pong players, dude. That'd be dope, dude.
And got all their eyes right.
Fucking bam.
So, man, you gotta wonder how
they just happened to go into teaching, but they fucking could have been some sweet ass fucking ping pong
slaying
players.
the tongue.
Oh yeah. And I doubt they'd have two, so they'd just be switching off to each other. Fucking bang.
Yeah.
That'd be dope.
That would be.
That'd fucking
flicking it over.
Just think what that would do to the fucking ping pong game. It'd skyrocket into fucking normal. But no, it was cool to see that. Like I said,
and like you said, pursue and achieve.
Yeah.
And then get.
There's regular people who can't even do that.
Yeah. And then go that much further to teach a whole new youth group. I don't know how many students they'll ever have, but if they continue it, there could be an account.
Mm-hmm. And the body language of the kids, they were totally into it. They were learning. There was no kind of uneasiness. They were all. Well, I'm sure they spent a lot of time with her, obviously.
And there's always that one kid or two that is in the background, bad mouthing or their parents or bad.
I'm sure the first couple of days of school are tough.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, then they get to learn that she's just a normal person, and so was her sister, And that's another thing I want to talk about. Now that we
refer to them in the plural, that's why I said them in that.
You have to, because that's two brains. Yeah. It'd be different if they were meshed together, but I think them being two separate. Anyway, but now that we've talked seriously about it, let's get to the real shit. What happens when sex happens with that?
Bruh, no joke. I was thinking, what was that movie?
What if the sister is not into the fella?
Homie. What if she's not digging homie? What if she's like, no, I like.
Just think of the critiquing that would happen.
I like chubby guys. You get the girls like, no, I like my physiques.
Don't use my hand to touch them. It's like...
Yeah. Then don't look if you don't want to.
Yeah.
Or even then, like if they're, like don't be looking. How do you do that?
I really wonder what happened. What would happen?
What I mean? Because every day-to-day life is something that I think they're going to pursue. And that's...
dating.
That's everyday day-to-day life.
Yeah, I think the urge to procreate is
what
just
if they have
in our DNA.
What if they have two?
What do you mean they have
vaginas?
No, because they had one body. That'd be nuts, though.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy. Got one on. Yeah.
Definitely. What was that movie, Matt Damon?
Okay. That's even more crazy. Because think about, they share a vagina that got two different minds.
I remember.
If they're getting pleasured, like let's say they end up having a boyfriend, and the girl wasn't like, let's say, we'll use you for an example. You're dating the chick, right? Yeah. And you happen to
I'll get into that zone.
Yeah,
I'll get into that
you
zone.
hit it off with Elaine, right? And Eileen is the other sister. And Eileen doesn't like you, but as you're hitting it, and you and fucking Elaine are getting down, the sister has to be feeling it. Yeah. God, that'd be so weird.
It would be.
That'd be so.
It would be. No, the reason I ask, because there's people that are born with both genitalia already. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What is that called? Hermaphrodite?
I think that's hermaphrodite. I'm not positive.
That sounds like a crazy bug.
But I think that's where the hermaphrodite. Right. They're born with both. And it's one of them was even a Bond girl. So I don't know what I was watching, some daytime talk show, right? Like Oprah or whoever.
Oprah for president 2020.
Yeah, go for it, girl. And they had her on, I think more of the fame thing that she was an ex-Bond girl or whatever, but...
And she happened to be a hermaphrodite.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was put out there while she was on the.
I really doubt it. I really doubt it. Like in the conversation, I recall her saying something about having to hide it.
Think about all those hardcore straight guys that were whacking it to her, and they had no clue.
Yeah, checking her out.
They had no clue.
I mean, she was good looking. She was a Bond chick, right? You know what I mean? So, yeah, all these cats over here like, oh, she's so sexy, and they don't even know it. That,
right.
I mean, in all aspects of the world, you know, it's just a woman, you know, for all intents and purposes, but when you get down to the nitty gritty, well, she's got both parts. It's like, what the hell?
What's your stance on is this the word tranny, the transvestite? What is the word for that?
For someone that changes their sex, that's a transsexual.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is your view on a transsexual? Being that, okay, just like we talked last week, you had that one. It was a guy up until 1920s, early 20s, and then had all the transitions to be a woman. Had the tatas, had the V card.
I've seen some that go mad sexy.
Would you consider that a woman at that point?
Not really.
Right.
Not really. I mean, if she fools me, she fools me, right? Like that's
just don't tell me. I guess.
Yeah. Because you know what I mean. But nah, you can see there's you yourself as you see the testosterone, the whatever it is in the other man, and you can. I mean, I don't know.
You know,
I think I could. Not that I've been around 101 of them to say like, oh yeah, I can tell. But when you see it out in the streets and you know, like I don't know, any one of them trying, you know, they're carrying on as a woman, and you're checking it out, right? You're like, oh, check out this chick, and then something throws you off. It's like, nah, you know what? I'm pretty sure that might not be one. And you know, I carry on.
Right.
You know, some people might hate, like, oh, you fucking bitch, you made me look. Like, you looked anyways, dog.
You know, to me, that's the same thing as the handicap conversation that we had, where people see a person in public and a handicap, or even a person transitioning. There's a lot of like, oh my god, you know, and I have that same thought process all the way through. It's like, who cares?
Yeah.
If they're not doing anything to hurt you, and they're not a dickhead,
so like I said, you know, let them be. You go on with life. You check. You do your thing as whatever you're trying to do, right? Be it if wherever you encounter them, shopping, shop. You know, and me, I'm checking it out while I'm out. You know what I mean? I'm single. I'm ready. Like I'm checking. You know, so if that's the way I look at it, I just happen to look, and if I recognize it, I'm like, oh no, that's not. You know, that's someone that's a trans, or something, and I just go about my business. You know?
Who cares? Yeah. Who cares?
For I guess some people that might be their thing, and so they pursue it. Some people, complete opposite end of the spectrum, they're over there, like I said, trying to chastise, curse them. You know, like you fucker, who knows what, right? Like I said, there's been some that they get it down, and it's pretty.
You can't even tell.
It's super hard to tell.
Yeah.
Like if you check out, especially like it depends on, I think, the features of the man before he went over. You know, like someone with real strong manly features is kind of hard.
Like John Travolta with the wig, you're like, that's a dude.
Oh yeah, he would have to do so much bone chiseling to get his shit like.
You get Clay Aiken in a wig, you're like, that might be a chick.
Yeah,
because the soft features.
Exactly.
I got you.
You know what I mean? So it goes from there, and depending on that, how far they take it, you know, some of them can fool you. It's like, holy shit, and you're checking it out all the way to the last minute, and it's like, oh shit, sorry.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just wanted to get your take on that. You know.
No, I don't hate. You know what I mean? Everyone
there's no reason to. Yeah. If there's anybody out there that goes, because you know, unfortunately we live in a small town, and there is a lot of judgment going on, and for people for people to be judging people on their sexual preferences or the way they want to live their life, as long as they're not breaking the law, they're not hurting anybody, your opinion about them should be non-existent, and you should realize, why do I even care? Let me focus on myself.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like I said, as long as nobody's breaking the law and nobody's hurting each other and they're not a dickhead, basically, then you're the dickhead for judging them. You know, but I mean, it's human nature to judge people. But there's a point you got to stop it.
Yeah, for sure. You know, grow up. It's a grow up factor.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that you might be like, that dude's a dumbass, but just take it over the line to be like, that dude's a dumbass and he doesn't deserve to have that wife. Well, you're just a hater.
That's a complete judgment.
You're just a hater. Yeah, you know what I mean? And so I just wanted to talk. I just really wanted to bring that up about the teacher and whatnot, because I think it's really cool that that's what's going on out there.
For sure. You know what I mean? People learning about. I mean, what's gonna come of.
I think diversity needs to be something that needs to be everywhere.
For sure.
It needs to, even in our small town. I'm really thankful for some of the diversity that really is pouring into our town. Now we have, because before it was always prominent of Caucasians and Mexicans. That was it. But now you're getting some African Americans and you're getting some Asians and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
And it's great. It's really great.
Yeah.
It's really funny. My bosses that I work for, they're really great guys. So please take this with a grain of salt. My boss made the joke because he has a niece who was dating a guy from Yoakum, who's a really great football player. He's about to be. He's about to play football for A&M. Shout out to Jordan Moore. From what I've heard, you've been nothing but a great gentleman. He came down with Camille, which is his girlfriend, which is my boss's niece. She goes to school and plays softball for, I think, North Texas. Anyway, but he came down to visit the family, and he's just a great guy. You know what I mean? And my other boss's son, who is married to my other boss's sister, so it's all in the family. His son is dating a Mexicana.
Okay.
And so my boss made the joke today. He was like, "Well, our family's getting real rounded." You know what I mean? He jokingly said it, but I got what he was saying. You know,
sure.
he's like, "Well, we're becoming real diverse." You know, and I think that's great. I think that's great.
It really is. You know what I mean?
And this is coming from a guy who, when I first started,
I've only met him the one time, and he seemed really, really nice.
Oh, he's a fucking cool guy. But this is the kind of guy he is. When I first started working there, I've improved his life in so many ways. He won't ever admit it, but I have. but this is the guy that when I first started working there, and I put in my iPod because I knew we were all country boys, so I'm gonna jam some country.
Yeah.
And he said to me, he goes, "I did not know Mexicans listen to country." So from the 5 years that I started to who he is now, I feel like I've helped him see a different part of the culture that he never got to see before.
For sure.
Because he probably just saw a bunch of illegal guys that were on job sites, and that was his idea of who Mexicans were.
Yeah.
And so here you got me, a fucking coconut, coming in and giving him a little bit of my culture with a little bit of his culture because we come from the same root.
Yeah, we're born and raised birders.
Yeah, exactly.
Right here. Up the road.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Country Memorial.
Absolutely. We both came out of the same place. We both lived in the same place. We were just two different generations. He's about 10, 15 years older than me. But as I was saying, it was great that he said, "Well, our family's getting real diverse." Yeah. And that's great that's what's happening in this kind of a town. Especially for a guy like him, because he didn't mean anything by being in his little world, but it's great to see where I started when I started there, for how small his world is to how big his world has become. And it's great that's what's going on, and that played out over the holidays when he got to have
see all his family around.
Yeah, and you got
look at this. I got some color around me.
He's got a niece.
Color up in here.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, in his, we grow up with the ideas of our parents and their parents' ideas of their parents and whatnot and whatnot. So definitely. Every once in a while, the water gets muddy with some racism, maybe, and they're more stereotypes than they are actually racist.
For sure, for sure. I think because me growing up in this burg myself and being I feel it wasn't like it was readily available, but I was open as could be to the hip hop. And that whole culture, that whole, you know what I mean? Whatever was out there, I was down to listen to it. But that being said, here in the burg, you're around plenty of people that say, it's even now worse to say it if I was to say it, but the N-word.
Oh yeah,
they go with the N-word pretty hard around here, and to me, I don't know if it's lack of melanin in my skin that I'm not black, you know what I mean, that to me it wasn't interpreted as that they were being racist. It's a stigma of what they've been growing up with.
100%.
You know what I mean? It's just a carryover, And if given the opportunity, the chance to be around someone of color, and just partake in their presence, I guarantee you that they're 9 times out of 10, you given person from around here wasn't like outright racist. They just partaking in the norm of what
they heard, but they heard from down the road.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? That being said, I use the word, to me it's...
You do?
I've used it, you know what I mean?
I've never have.
Not like as to say, call anyone it.
Well, do you say it with an R or do you say it with an A?
I'll use either or. You know what I mean?
See, I can't, if you do the R, you can't do that.
Like I'm saying, I was raised in this given area that, white folks said what white folk were going to say. And the first time I did hear someone say it with a hard R, I heard hard R all the time, like Dre saying it, Warren, all those guys hard R, right? Well, before it was determined whether it was a hard R or the A, right? And to me, it was nothing for them to say it. When I heard...
so you didn't think it was a big deal for you to say it?
No, I didn't.
Because you heard it in the songs, right?
Well,
pop culture in general.
That pop culture in general, and then that being said, also in just, not to say general conversation, but in everyday guy talk around the burg, you know what I mean? And given points around here, I remember a gentleman that I was around in Junction. He was, and I know he wasn't racist. He used the word, but it wasn't in a mean.
See, here's the thing, though.
Like, it's hard to, like I'm saying, a person of color would completely start to just...
You're racist.
Yeah, you're racist.
And I gotta say, from what... And I don't think that's wrong either. I think they... fuck yeah, you're racist. If you're gonna go ahead and throw that R out there.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying when you say you don't view.
I'll gladly use the Mexican derogatory term, just as quickly. You know what I mean?
Like a wetback, you'll call something.
Oh yeah.
I got no problem saying wetback all day.
You know what I mean? I say,
but I won't ever say the R word.
Yeah. White trash is white trash.
I thought that shit.
Wiggers are wiggers.
Right.
To me. I don't. People always want to say that it necessarily is a black person when the actuality of a definition from the any Webster's is going to be an ignorant person. So I say myself that I'm not always describing a black person. I'm just using it as in pop culture terms that sense. But if I was to ever use it in malice, it would be like, you're an ignorant person,
right?
Not to say that, I'm comparing you to a black man or a black person or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
I just can't do it.
And
me personally.
Well, I wouldn't. It's like I'm saying, I wouldn't just outright say it right here, right now. You know what I mean?
Right.
But bullshitting, us talking about something, and if I'm gonna, like, we were watching that Thug Life video, right?
Yeah.
We were watching that Thug Life video. White guy jumps out. I would have easily said, "Look at nigga gonna go," like, you know what I mean?
See, and that's always see to me in that term, even though you didn't say it with an A, to me you said it with an A.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's the R version that's
yeah.
And then there's the that's the with the A.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's how I see it. I think it's a little bit more reasonable, or you let it slide when it's with the A, because you're like you said, look at that go, you know what I mean? It wasn't like, look at that guy, what up?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And me myself, I've never, even in an altercation with black people or whatever, like, there's
that's never right?
Yeah. I've never like, that's gonna be my go-to. To me, like I said, you're just like bottom of the barrel, ignorant, like go-to. It's like I would just call him out for whatever it is.
For what he did, not for who he is.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
For whatever it is that he was doing.
Right. I totally feel you there. Yeah. That's how I see. I see everybody for who you are, not for what color you are. Because like I said, there's shitheads in every race.
Oh yeah.
Every gender. Right. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
A girl could stick me just as and I'm talking about shanking me. In any which way than a dude could, and it don't matter what color. Any color can shank me. Any female can, or any gender. to me, it's
given
all
a shank and the opportunity and the whatever it is that drives someone to do so.
Right.
Anyone could do it.
I straight judge people for that,
and
I might judge you for what you listen to music.
And I don't know, some of the like the stigmas that they want to say about races. Like people always say, oh, a black man will jump off to like get real angry too fast, and a white person is very like, oh, come. Like to me, I look at it like, well, at least that guy's being real, right? And the white person is being, like very calculated, very manipulative. Like, oh, I stay calm in these situations. Like, no, dude, you're probably just as giddy as this guy is to go,
right.
But you're like trying to create someone to look good. You're trying to look good for maybe it's a camera. You're worried about a camera out there, right? There's cameras everywhere, all that type of shit. So I think that's more PC stuff on that side that is lies on their behalf.
Stereotypes are out there everywhere.
Oh, for sure. Stereotypes are so hard.
Yeah, but I think we spent a little too much time on that.
Okay.
I didn't want to go into racial at all. I hate when we do.
Yeah.
But it was just it started with I guess in some ways it was racism towards handicap is really where it started.
Yeah. Very much so. Very much so. And you know what? Since you brought that up, I was YouTubing, I don't know what, the other day, and I seen a real crazy video about a group of black guys and a group of fucking Mexicanos, right, going at it somewhere. I think it was Seattle or something like that.
Throwing down?
Throwing down. Yeah, it was, like more BS, more bullshit talking.
Chirping.
Chicks getting in between, right? Like, so,
well, you're lucky if my girl went here, bro.
yeah. On and on, right? And one of the guys, I love reading the comments, so I'll spend more time than I did on the video than in reading the comments sometimes. And one of them was a real good one. It was an ex-prison guy, and he's like, you know what? That's bullshit. I've been to war, because there was guys talking trash like, get them Mexicans, get them black folk, right? Get them, back and forth, right? Different comments, so on and so forth. And one guy was like, he didn't actually go out to say what his race was, I think, but he was implying in some of the tone, I thought he was a Mexicano or Latino, I'm not too sure, right? But he was talking about race wars in prison. And he's like, man, I've been on the yard where race wars go down, and you're killing and murdering people on the yard for their race, whether it be black, whether it be white, whether it's the Asians, whether it's the Southern Mexicans, the Northern Mexicans, I guess they have that in Cali, right? I don't know where he was from, but he was talking about all this different stuff, right? Like, you go to war and da-da-da-da. He's like, that ain't cool. That ain't G. All you fuckers talking all these in the comments saying this stuff. Love your humans. Love your fellow human. Love your, like, any man out there is a man. It doesn't matter what is going on, like, what you determine is smart and not. Some people have different abilities and, all like with I guess the differences in humanity, and just to embrace it.
Absolutely.
I was like, dude, that's a badass comment.
Because there's beauty in every culture. Yeah. I don't care what culture. There's something beautiful about your culture.
Yeah, for sure.
But just to put an ender on this conversation, one of my favorite sayings of all time is and it's actually, I quote myself on this one, and I'm gonna look at the camera when I say it: "Fuck race, we're all human."
Yeah, I'm with that.
Anyway, but as you can see, we're in a new studio. As you, we're on the 175th floor in the skyscraper. So that's where we moved to.
Overlooking the hill country.
Yeah, it's the only skyscraper in Fredericksburg.
Yeah, they wouldn't allow anything else but this place.
They put us all the way up at the top. So 175 floors.
Penthouse.
Yeah, and it's nice. It was a nice move.
If you could see the view.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. You can
see
Enchanted Rock from here.
Miles and miles.
You can see Enchanted Rock from here. But yeah, so if you see a different kind of scenery, that's what's going on. We're up in a new place here.
Some of the shit's right in their face. They got cash, like fucking suckers.
Yeah, and it's just a smorgasbord of shit. You got Willie.
Man, we were on the race thing, right? Did you see the big? It was a whole page plus of a letter put out by June and the rest of the cash group.
Oh yeah, about those guys. When that what was that?
I think they were right.
Yeah, it was like Charlotte.
Yeah. They were all alt-right.
Yeah.
I don't know if that determines racism or not, but I think it's.
They put out because there was a couple guys wearing
they're
cash.
all wearing that shirt, and they're like, "Hey, we don't condone it at all," and he wasn't about it. He was all about, pretty much what that comment would have said. So. Yeah.
You know, there's always that one famous question that people are like, if you could bring one person back from the dead to have dinner with or to have a conversation with, who would it be? Yeah. And I would say Johnny Cash would maybe be up there for me. Just because music-wise, I love that. Yeah. But and then I'm a big fan of going through adversity in life. I think it makes you a better person. And obviously, we all know about his early life and the adversity that he had to go through to become who he is. Yeah. And not only that, but just the greatest love story of all time that I've ever felt was Johnny and June. That's one of the greatest love stories of all time, in my simple opinion. If I could find a woman that I could fall in love with and be that in love with, where you love each other no matter how shitty of a person you are and no matter how great of a person you are, you're loved every way. And then not only that, you pass away, and they pass away the week later. Yeah. Like that.
That stuff is, that kind of stuff is eerie. You know what
eerie?
I mean? You know what I mean? Like,
what the fuck you mean? That's beautiful, man.
Well, there's no doubt that there's beauty in that, right? Yeah. But I'm saying that the strangeness that occurs, you know, people always say that it's the love, right? And there's no doubt that there's some.
They were heartbroken.
Yeah. Oh, so you say it's just straight up heartbroken?
It has to be. Yeah. You're just so heartbroken because dogs they do the same thing.
Yeah.
You know,
the red fern grows.
It's like Sublime. You know, Sublime. Bradley Nowell, when he passed away, I remember watching the Behind the Music. Shout out to Behind the Music on VH1.
Yeah. Do they still even do that?
I don't know. It's on YouTube. I watch it every once in a while.
Okay.
Anyway, but I was watching the Behind the Music. You know, and when Bradley died. Louis, which was the Dalmatian, Louis. Famous Louis. He was he was another band member almost. You know, he was in talked about on almost every record. Anyway, he was heartbroken, like literally heartbroken. His Bradley Nowell's wife said that Louis would sit at the door for hours and wait, and then he finally passed away. He never left the spot. He never left the door.
Never ate or anything.
Yeah, he just never. Yeah, wow. he died. He just died waiting on Bradley to come home. You know.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's eerie. That's, you know, that's no doubt it's love and it's strong and it's beautiful. But and to me, it's in some senses it's eerie.
Who's the one person you would think about maybe bringing back?
Who would I bring back? Man, that's a good one because I automatically want to go way back. I want to go way back and see really, you know, like. If this ancient mythology stuff has any like validity to it, or if that's what all it is just stories and fancies that our ancestors created, you know, from long ago, like because they talk about epic times way back. I mean, we're no doubt in epic times right now. A huge percentage of the world can get warmth or cold or like fresh air whenever wanted, water whenever wanted, food whenever wanted. Right? We're like at an apex right now of like humanity getting everything that they could ever dream of in their own simple minds of dreaming. You know what I mean? We're not everyone's going to the stars yet, but doesn't everyone dream about that, right? For now, everyone's happy with warm, cold, whatever it is in that sense, and then food, right? So,
right. Yeah.
But there was, so they say, right? Like crazy shit went on back in the day. The Egyptians were charting the stars. These Minoan cats were jumping bulls. The Lascaux caves went on, building the pyramids. I think I'd go. It'd be hard, dog. If
let's not draw this into a 10-minute conversation.
Yeah, you know what? Then I'm gonna say. Then I'm gonna just say real simple. Someone. We'll say Napoleon.
Right.
Napoleon.
Yeah, because I understand it's going to change next week if I asked you.
Yeah,
you know what
sure.
I mean. But at this point, that's not a bad one though. Yeah. That's not a bad one at all because that's an interesting man right there.
The homie had money, but he was so.
It wasn't good enough.
Yeah, it wasn't good enough. He was wealthy family, but short.
Right.
So like in its own sense, short is not.
Do you think he was compensating for that?
Oh, for sure. Homie had issues, right?
Right.
And just like you were saying, people got to go through hardships to endeavor to get, to persevere, to get all this stuff, like build a skin to be able to take the shitty stuff that the world throws at you and so on and so forth. Well, this dude had both, ends of the spectrum at once to deal with. He had all this money, but he was still like having to deal with being the least, I guess, person in that room, or like all the other kids that had money were,
right.
whatever was desirable at the time, and he just wasn't. so he just had to go out and
But yeah, man, that's not a bad one. I definitely would want to hang out with Johnny Cash, and I would definitely not turn down hanging out with fucking Napoleon. You know what I mean? I'd be like, hey, do you want to have some ice cream? I'd be like, you know what this is called? No, it's actually Neapolitan. But for the longest time, I called it Napoleon. I thought it was Napoleon ice cream. And everybody's like, no, it's Neapolitan. I was like, are you sure?
Are you sure?
Are you sure it ain't Napoleon ice cream? Are you fucking sure? I was like, no, it's Neapolitan. I was like, I don't know.
I still don't believe you. You
Right.
don't know shit, though, right? Some things is like that.
Right.
I remember. But you're gonna get messed up with either one for sure.
Oh, drinking? For sure.
Yeah, they both. I'm guarantee you they were both alkies.
Dude, how about let's just bring them both to the same party and fucking just have
Ooh.
That'd be crazy.
I bet you Napoleon changes his whole outlook on life just jamming with Johnny like.
I bet he'd probably try to pick a fight because he'd want his way all the time.
And get all wind up, and next thing you know he's swinging on you. Yeah, could be.
Yeah. I actually wanted to show you another video where I'm a big fan of the spontaneous music that pops up out of nowhere.
Oh hell yeah!
And this is one this is a video of these girls that were on a train. Oops, I have the phone.
And they each had their instrument or what?
Yeah. Let me start this from the beginning so you can see. But let me set it up real quick. These are girls that are on a train. They're not from wherever they're at because they mention it. And they're just on a train. And it's amazing how music is like a church for some people. There's people who are really religious, and then there's people who are more spiritual. I think this is one of those spiritual situations that all these random people that are on a train, I think that they might be annoyed at first, but they kind of start to feel the vibe of goodness, and then before you know it, everybody's digging it.
Some people are completely lost into religion because of the
I
music.
agree. I made a joke the other day that pissed off a lot of people because it was well, I won't get into it, but yeah, let's take a look at this video of these musicians just hanging out on a train here.
You can tell homegirl's getting into it too.
Yeah, baby. I'm giving my home girl. We're having a good time. Forgive us, we're not from Frankfurt, yo. So what you gonna say? I said, pump up the chair and pump it up. Oh, I got feeling stupid.
Pump up the jam. Homegirl with the bass has got a fatty in her.
Dude, the girl on the bass is a badass bass player. Like Flea would be like,
She's
damn.
rocking it. I want to see what that face looks like.
I don't even need to see. I'm already digging it. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, I date her. I don't even care what she looks like.
Well, I can tell you, dog, just by the booty, the moves, the shapes. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, she's a bad bass player.
They're jamming good.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Oh my God. Oh, there was a little bit of face.
Who's this guy? The guy in the back.
Yeah. Homie's like, yeah, your milkshake will bring it to the yard, girl.
See, I'm loving this, dude. Just random on the train. Me being a music junkie, I'd be all about this.
Oh, they're going off, man.
They're the gorillas.
Yeah. What a good little mix.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good little eclectic mix. These girls are G. For sure. I tell you what, bass will get it, no doubt.
You know, that instrument that she's sitting on right there.
Yeah, what is that thing?
It's like a box. You know who's really good at that is Jack Sanchez.
Oh, really?
Yeah, shout out to Jack Sanchez as well.
Yeah.
Jack Sanchez, man, he's really good at that.
I know Jack since we was way back.
See, that just goes with what we were talking about.
Yeah. His mom and my mom would chill at the baseball games while they were playing.
There she is. Great video. Whoa, we got a little kid.
Who's this kid going off?
Yeah, that was a great video of some just random musicians getting together.
For sure, I dig that. I'm all over it.
So last night was the college national championship.
Uh-oh.
It was between Alabama and Georgia.
You know what?
Great game, dude.
Yeah?
It went into overtime and everything. Just to set it up is that Alabama is a powerhouse, and they've been a powerhouse.
Always, yeah.
Well, they just weren't mixed. They weren't jiving last night. So the coach made a very huge call at the end at halftime to start the third quarter, and it's to take out the senior quarterback who's a pretty much a badass, to put in a freshman. Because they weren't having any mojo, and they were losing. Georgia was beating them, not by a whole lot, but Georgia was beating them, and this freshman stood. The biggest game ever in college football. This freshman comes in and never really played it down, and fucking leads them to fucking leads them to a victory.
See
but
Bama can pick some kids.
Here's the cool part of the story though. Is they end up going to overtime. The freshman needs them to score a touchdown, ties the game. Well, it's overtime. Georgia does not score, because if you're not familiar with the college overtime rules, is both teams get a chance to get the score. Whereas in NFL, whoever gets the ball first, if you score, you win. That's it. In college, both teams get the chance.
You get your opportunity.
Yeah. You can either score a touchdown or you can kick a field goal. Obviously, if you kick the field goal first, and the other team that gets the ball second scores the touchdown, they win. So what ended up happening was Georgia got the ball, and they couldn't score a touchdown. So they kicked the field goal, and the kid that kicked the field goal, man, balls to him, because that's a very high-pressure situation to come in and kick a field goal.
Sure.
Well, he gets it, and so Alabama gets the ball back. Their first down, the kid gets sacked and loses 20 yards. So they're like 40 yards back. Yeah, first down, he's
zoink.
Yeah, the freshman freaks out, gets tackled, loses 20 yards.
Poor kid.
Second play, it's a snap, and he's standing in the pocket, and he's reading all his receivers on the right side, and then out of nowhere, turns to his left and flings it as hard as he could.
Oh.
Catches the homie, and mid-stride, boom, touchdown, game over. The freshman led them to a victory. So the Alabama fans were very disappointed. They haven't been in a championship game in like 30 plus years. They had a big drought. So this was their season because they were playing good. So I'm going to show you a video of this Georgia fan who didn't know how to take it.
One of the first things that I said to Jalen was...
Wait, what happened? Sorry about that, guys. Technical difficulties. Well, this is how he felt after the game.
Holy shit. Tore his man cave up.
Here it is.
Damn, tore his man cave down.
Have you ever loved a team that much?
No. I've seen cats get down in the streets over teams. And I asked myself, I was like, Rob, you ain't making no dough off of anything.
One more time.
Why do you care this much? How are you going to go and scrap a guy over a game? Like, that's so stupid.
Yeah,
I seen the guy get all bloodied and bust up, like bad.
That was pretty bad, man.
Yeah, he was angry.
Yeah, I've never loved anything that much in my life.
He probably put too much money on it and was like, oh, tonight's the night.
Tonight's
the night.
Very good chance. But yeah, it was a big game, and I was fortunate. I almost missed it. I caught the last 9 minutes in overtime, so I got very, very lucky.
I think I might have seen some of the instant classic.
Right.
Because it wasn't it? It came on as instant classic.
Last night?
Maybe it wasn't then, because I saw something earlier that day, Monday morning, Tuesday morning.
Yeah, maybe
what
not.
Is today.
But we're about to end the podcast. But before we do, Johnny's going to be heading out overseas.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get the good stuff going on.
We got a half of open mic taking it global.
Going international.
Yeah, so you're gonna go to the Philippines, and you're going to Hawaii, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Hawaii for a little while, and then we're gonna head to the Philippines, and I'll be there for another little while, and then I'll come back to Hawaii for a little while, and then I'll finally come back to Texas.
Right. So you'll be gone for about a month. Huh?
A little over a month, yeah.
Right. So that's about 4 episodes that Johnny won't be here. So if you're wondering what happened, I didn't can the motherfucker or nothing like
he's
that.
He's gonzos.
Yeah, he's just he's out traveling overseas and checking it out and spreading the word.
Yeah, getting the word out. Man, we need shirts.
I know. I've been thinking about it. I've been asked by a couple people
Yeah.
about it. I need to get on it for sure. I actually got a message from a guy. Shout out to Russell. I'm not going to give out your last name, but Russell. He messaged me the other day.
Russell.
He saw one of the I think it was podcast 15, and he was saying if I'd freestyle the song on the podcast because it was the conversation that we were having about the music nowadays, rap house. And I did that small little.
Yeah.
He's like, man, keep going, bro.
Keep going.
Yeah. So
Chris can flow. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I've been around with him, just drinking, cruising, burning, and homie can flow. It caught me off guard. I was like, how's this cat? You throw a beat on and he just starts going.
But more of the story is I'm not gonna do it. Maybe some other time. But
sooner or later it'll happen. You know,
yeah.
we'll get back into the music scene and bango. I bet you. You know what? Come up with a fire beat.
Yeah.
Hit him with it. Come up with a fire beat. Hit him with it, and I bet you he'd do something.
Yeah, I would if you send me if you message me that beat, and I'll throw it down to that for sure. I might even write something for that. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. We're getting close to our usually scheduled hour that we like to do, and we just, like I said, we're up in the new studio, the 175 floors of Fredericksburg.
Yeah.
The skyscraper, only skyscraper in town. It's not hard to see.
You'll see us.
Yeah.
Look around.
If we're up at the very top, that light's always gonna be up on the top, and
take your phone. Just scope up real quick, you'll see us, and then go right back to your old world.
Yeah, 175 stories up. So we're just going to give it to y'all as much as we can. And like I said, hopefully Johnny has safe travels and gets back and tell us some cool stories, you know what I mean, when you get back. And just wish them safe travels. And for all you family members who watch the show, keep them in your thoughts and keep them in your prayers. And
no worries. No wishful thinking.
Yeah, the guy's a traveler.
Yeah.
I actually want to do the Amazing Race one day, and I'm taking this motherfucker with me.
And you know what? Like at one point in my life, I didn't have cable, so we were doing the antenna thing, and that was one of the shows that could come in was 3 or 4 channels, and I would come home and I caught the season, one of the seasons. Man, epic. You want to make a video, try it out, I'm with you.
Fuck yeah. I actually was just talking to, Victoria Powell, shout out to Victoria. I was just talking to her last night about how I wanted to do the Amazing Race. Yeah. And I said, the guy I'm bringing Johnny, because she watches the podcast, so she knows who you are. And she was, and I was like, I'm taking Johnny if I go. Plus the motherfuckers travel around the world, so he's already got that part down. I just got to keep up with him, you know. But anyway, we're going to wrap it up. So, Johnny, shout us out of here. So,
love the world. Love you all. Humanity. Keep it up. I hope you bring on some G-ass guests, and it keeps on rolling. For sure. Come back. Start yakking again, BSing.
Yeah, you're going to have to get on Bob. If you're going to be around Bobby, you're going to have to get on Bobby's Facebook to watch the videos.
Oh, there you go. That's what I'll do. Mm-hmm. I was just thinking, I was like, how am I going to get to watch anything? And I was like, that's what I'll do.
Yeah, because we're only, I said, right now, our main platform is Facebook. So if you want to ever find us, we're on Facebook. So anyway, like I said, Johnny's told you what to do, how to do it.
Triple peace, deuces.
Open Mic Land podcast. We out.